Yo, what is going on, guys? Just wanted to jump on here to give my trade recap, and also kind of figuring out um what I need to do for next time in terms of trade frequency. Like I talked about um trade frequency and less is better. And when I zoom into the 1 minute, I find myself actually taking more trades, if that makes sense. Yeah, I actually found myself taking more trades because on the 1 minute there's a lot of opportunities to actually um there's a lot of opportunities to actually take a trade from, especially on the 1 minute. But on the 5 minute, when we don't have a solid close, um, we're unable to kind of um how do I put this? Like on the 5 minute, it kind of filters out all those fakes that the 1 minute has, if that makes sense. So on the 1 minute, we tap into a 5 minute POI and we get some nice displacement on the 1 minute, but on the 5 minute, that 1 minute candle still forming. Oh no, sorry, that 5 minute candle still forming, and anything can happen within that 5 minutes. Um, yeah, anything can happen within that 5 minutes. So it's kind of, I think it's a way for me to actually filter out um the trades, though, and it would lower my trade frequency because I'm on a higher time frame, executing on the higher time frame. And it's something I'm gonna try starting from tomorrow. I know I'm just trying to figure out this new system that I have working. um it's a new system that I'm trying to make, or that I'm uh trying to make work. But it is one of those things where I kind of have to figure it out, um, in terms of how I need to go about it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, the best I can do is just try and figure out how to actually um, take trades on that higher time frame. So on the 5 minute. So it's something I need to, yeah, it's something I need to figure out. Anyways, yeah, just want to jump over the two trades that I actually found myself taking. And this is based on, so as you guys can see, we made a new range, which in our case, the range that we made was this low to this high. Pretty much waited for equilibrium to be filled. And after equilibrium was filled, I was pretty much just waiting for any form of any form of um continuation to the upside. So with that, when we tapped equilibrium, we came all the way back down. I was pretty much just waiting for some structure to form to the upside, or ideally we tap into that last kind of defense, which in our case was this um, 5 minute bullish order block, which is here. That would be our last defense. Um, but we actually get a sweep of these lows up here. We actually get a sweep of these lows up here. And this is what I meant by, taking taking those taking those trades where on the 5 minute, as you guys can see, we actually sweep out these lows and we don't close below it, therefore not forming a structure. But on the 1 minute, you know, we would have jumbled up here and ended up kind of being faked out because of this 5 minute fair value gap here. Like I feel like my trades, I probably wouldn't be more confident on the lower time frame taking something like this. But if I'm looking on like on it on the 5 minute time frame, I can see that we don't have a close below here. So we try to break structure down to the downside, but we don't get that close. We do get that sweep, we get that rejection, right? And we get that, you know, we get that follow through. You know, we target that structure, right? And we get that follow through. But yeah, so what we ended up taking was we get a sweep, we get a delivery, pretty much just waiting for a form of pullback into this 5 minute fair value gap here. And then I pretty much just scaled into the 1 minute to see um, to pretty much see any form of confirmation. So in this case, our rejection was actually that this this bullish candle here. We actually get filled somewhere here, but yeah, we get that bullish candle here after tapping into this 5 minute gap. Take out these lows, we get that nice bullish candle. I enter and stops below this low here. And at this high, just because we're so high on the range that it was hard for price action to continue. There's a low probability that price actually continues. So I pretty much went break even at this level here. Ended up going break even on this trade, and lucky we did because it would have saved us a loss here. Second trade, same kind of thing, but I feel like this trade wasn't clear on the 5 minute. It wasn't clear on the 5 minute because as you can see on the 5 minute, we don't have any form of like we don't really have any form of we don't have any kind of form of like this is all consolidation here, and yeah, it just didn't really look that good on the 5 minute to actually take. um so again, it's one of those things where I'm waiting for a bullish confirmation on the 1 minute, right? But I could be also doing the same on the 5 minute, right? And just waiting that extra candle, waiting the extra 5 1 minute candles to actually form to see, hey, like, you know, this is the higher time frame. It kind of filters out. Like if I look on this on the 5 minute, I'm just like, fuck, like this looks ugly. Like, you know, this doesn't really look, we look like we're consolidating on the 5 minute. So why am I taking something on the 1 minute if we're consolidating on the 5 minute? Does that make sense? So, um, and this is what I mean by like filtering out those trades, right? Like we have our last defense, we actually get a sweep, right? We didn't close below it, and we get that nice bullish candle out of the zone here. I could have easily went like this, um, stops against these lows and target these highs, boom, target these highs, boom, target these highs, boom, target these highs, boom. You know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those things where um from now on, I probably will be sticking to the 5 minute when it comes to my entry confirmations. Just so it kind of helps with what to look for in terms of that those confirmations. Because if I'm waiting on the 1 minute and that 5 minute candle hasn't formed, how do I know that that 5 minutes is going to hold if I'm taking a trade on the 1 minute, right? So I should technically just be using the 5 minute, though, because ideally I want to lessen my trade frequency, right? That's the idea. I want to lessen the trade frequency, and to do that, I need to jump up a time frame, which I'm willing to try. Um, so that's something I'll be looking at from now onwards, trying to stay away from that lower time frame to avoid fake outs and things like that. Um, Here's a good example on this trade here. As you can see that we actually take out all these um, 5 minute lows, right? We take out all these 5 minute lows, we get a nice bullish reaction to the upside. What do we form? We form this 1 minute fair value gap. We get that perfect entry confirmation, which in this case is a kind of where we had a full volumetric candle to the downside and we flipped upwards, not even forming a top wick. So ideally, we should actually see a continuation from a candle like that. But it being on the 1 minute, um, we got faked out pretty bad, and to which the 5 minute was still undecided, and we pretty much dropped all the way down. So again, it's one of those things where I need to watch out for, and this is why I would love to stick to the higher time frame, because therefore it um kind of stops me from kind of listens the trade frequency and filters out all the bad trades that are on the the lower time frame, right? Like as you guys like I pretty much proved that point to you guys there. Majority of the time like this works out, but again, it being in the 1 minute and it takes five of these 1 minute candles to form a 5 minute candle. So I think just waiting for that 5 minute candle to close or that 5 minute confirmation would probably be better than that 1 minute um, confluence. But yeah, that kind of wraps it up on these two trades. Again, heavily on that market structure basis, because I believe that the market, or like what makes sense to me is that market structure, that external, that internal, right? That's what I believe is the play. Um, and yeah, I mean, yeah, and I feel comfortable in trading like this. So I'm gonna kind of stick to what I know, and kind of what I want and how I want to trade. So, and not following the norms and things like that. And yeah, we're gonna try different things to kind of figure out what works and collect data on what works and what doesn't work, and things like that. And yeah, what I was looking at over here was that okay, normally when we miss this extension leg, right? When we miss an extension leg, price either like plays a continuation from a POI from equilibrium, or we normally fill whatever we need to fill, and price ends up just going all the way down, right? But what I'm looking to see is that, hey, like in terms of structure, we didn't even close above here. So what is this? Um, this is now a weak high. So where can we look to target? This low here, right? We can look at equilibrium within the range, right? We can look at equilibrium within the range. So we can see that equilibrium is here. So we can look to go break even at this level, and maybe price might even come down a little bit more to fill in this 5 minute gap here or this 5 minute gap here. So it's something to kind of consider in terms of what to look for. And as you guys can see, we get that entry model where we didn't close above, right? And we get a nice displacement candle to the downside. And what does that form? A 5 minute gap here. So if you were to take this trade, I would look to see like, hey, how do we close on this on the 5 minute? If we inverse this gap here, I'd probably look to get out and things like that. So yeah, I mean it's something that I'm continuing to work on and figuring out a way to kind of um make this shit work, to be honest. And find a consistent, like a plan that works, right? And not constantly being break even or winning or losing, or like trying to find that system where it's somewhat profitable, but I just have to make it profitable by using my psychology and right and risk management and things like that. But like the thing is that like making that system work, um is something that, you know, I'm continuing to work on. So yeah, um, bit of a late one, but you know, we will, you know, we continue to strive and continue to grind to make this shit work. So yeah, just want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a beautiful night or a beautiful day wherever you guys are from. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. God bless you guys. God is good, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.